Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ZenBlocks, formerly known as EOS Miami. Very special meetup tonight. We have some very cool guests. We have Eli, the CEO, founder of All EBT, Decentralized Food Stamps on Blockchain. We have Maria, the Chief Operating Officer of the Miami Blockchain Center. We have Justin, the head of product of the Telos Foundation. So we have a full house. And then we also have, as always, the open forum talks. Anyone is welcome to present their applications or just talk about whatever's on their mind in the general blockchain EOSIO communities that we're part of. The meeting is being recorded, so it will be on YouTube later. We'll also give everyone who is presenting the raw file so they can use the footage for their own promotional videos. If anyone has anything they want to present, like a D-app or a blockchain game that they don't want to be posted on the video, you can wait till the end of the meetup, then we'll turn off the video and you can still present and get feedback from the audience and the community without having your IP being recorded for YouTube. So that being said, let me hand the mic over to Marlon, the founder of ZenBlocks EOS Miami, for him to do the general introductions. I know he can't stay that long, so we'll let him do his introductions first. He's got some work to do tonight. Hey, Marlon.
Guys, how are you?
Good, good.
Lots of familiar faces here. See Justin, Eli, how are you? And thanks for joining, everyone. I just wanted to stop by and say hi and just to continue to promote blockchain, not only in Miami, but across the US. I think you guys should be seeing a lot more productive products and meetings and just overall productivity coming from the ZenBlocks team, from Telos, from a lot of the other organizations that we're involved with and the blockchains that we support. So Pravi's doing a great job at leading that, and we're really excited about what Eli's doing with All EBT. If you recall, the last time we saw each other was at the hackathon when you guys won the $3,000 prize in Silicon Valley, which was amazing. So just to see the progress that you've made since then, I commend you and the team for sticking it through. We know as entrepreneurs how tough things can be, how not everyone sees the vision, but you've got to continue to push the message and just pursue it through. So kudos to you, Eli and team, for doing that. And with that being said, I'll hand the floor back to Pravi to keep the agenda going. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad you could join us. I know Marlon's got a lot of software updates to make tonight, so I'm glad he could take time out of his day. So we'll actually, the format is we'll let the audience introduce themselves first, and then we'll go to the speakers. So let's go in the order that people joined. So Samuel, do you want to introduce yourself first? You can unmute yourself.
Oh, yeah, sure. Hey, everyone. My name is Samuel Morris. I'm an IT software major at FIU, all around crypto, robotics, and cybersecurity enthusiast. I'm really interested in seeing a lot more blockchain applications where they're relevant. The idea of EBT being used on the EOS stack is really interesting to me.
Great. And how did you find us?
Through the UPE Discord, the Honor Society.
Oh, great. Yeah. So the UPE is the Florida International University's computer club, basically. FIU, for those of you who don't know, is the fourth largest public university in the United States. And we actually help host a lot of their game jams because ZenBlocks is an official Unity 3D, Unreal Engine, and Magic Leap user group. So we host blockchain sessions for their game jams. Okay, the next person who joined the meeting is Jesse. Do you want to unmute yourself? Thanks, Samuel. for
Cool.
joining.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I actually found out about this because Mara posted the link, and I had some questions about it, so decided to just hop on and see if I could learn more about it. I honestly don't know too much about blockchain technology, but I'm hoping to learn more. I currently live in New York City and work at an investment bank doing networking and do a little bit of database stuff and general IT type stuff. So yeah, that's how I ended up here.
Great. Yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot more from us shortly. We actually rented office space in Manhattan for ZenBlocks.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, welcome. We'll meet you in person at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Great. And then Marina, I think you were next.
Hi, nice to meet you. I am Marina Spindler. I am in blockchain and crypto space, and I am Latina, so I work with a lot of companies in the region. So that's my focus. I learned about this through Maria, who posted it on the Women in Blockchain, and currently I'm doing research on women and financial inclusion. So I hope that at some point you can support that. Thank you.
Oh, great. Where do you live?
I live in Brooklyn, actually, so I might be a neighbor.
Oh, okay. So another future New York City ZenBlocks. Yeah, I know. And then we'll hang out with Maria at the Blockchain Center in New York when she comes to visit. Okay, great. And then and now we have the three presenters tonight. So let's start with Justin, the newcomer, so to speak.
Hey guys, great to be here. Thanks Pravi and Marlon for hosting this. It's really awesome. I'm Justin. I'm the kind of head of product at the Telos Foundation. We basically represent the Telos blockchain, to the public, and really get the word out there of what Telos is capable of. So yeah, we kind of maintain Telos.net and Telos Foundation, and really get out there and talk to developers and people about what Telos is capable of.
So, one of the advantages of having these type of meetings is I've interacted with Justin so many times on Twitter and other places that are more text-based. I never realized he's got a British accent. And
it's actually Australian.
Oh, Australian. Okay, yeah. So when we mess with him, make sure you call him Kiwi then. But yeah, we almost met each other once at Starfish blockchain space in San Francisco, but I couldn't wait. I had a flight that day. So okay, great. And then thanks, Justin, for joining.
No worries.
So Maria, and then Marlon just says hi as well on chat. Maria, want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to see some familiar faces here. I'm Maria Sabando. I'm the CEO of Blockchain Center Miami, which is a Blockchain Center is in downtown Miami. The focus of the location is to encourage the people of Miami to better understand blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and digital assets. We have a lot of different kinds of people that are part of our community, developers, entrepreneurs, investors, and we really want to make sure that they can understand how they can use it in their own respective industries. So we're a network of resources for them in different capacities. And Pravi was the one that told me about this particular meetup, and I was so excited because I love to see how blockchain is used in actual business cases. And this particular cause that Eli has put forth, I think is a fascinating way to use the application. I'm very excited to talk to you, Eli, to understand how you're executing this. So I'm very happy to be here, and I hope to contribute to the development of your product and the success of your vision.
Great. And then we have our keynote speaker tonight, Eli. So I'll do a brief introduction, and we'll play a little video, and then we'll let Eli do his introduction. I guess we'll have Scott also. Scott, why don't you introduce yourself, and then we'll get to Eli. Scott, you're muted.
Guys, how's it going?
Good,
I'm Scott, co-founder of Blockchain Center in Miami. Nice to meet you guys. I'm actually here in New York at the Blockchain Center in New York, which we doing a little soft launch, but you guys can see the preview. But happy to join. I'm glad I was able to make it.
So actually most of the people on the call today are in New York. So why don't you just introduce what Blockchain Center New York is then?
We're on 83rd and Broadway. We are not open this second, but soonly stay tuned for that. But I don't know if some of you guys know what we're doing in Miami with the Blockchain Center down here. Or
yeah, I thought Miami was the second location. I thought New York was the first one. I guess not.
The Bitcoin Center New York started in 2013
okay.
on Wall Street. They were in Soho over the last couple of years, but now we just expanded to this new location on 83rd and Broadway. So just another place for the crypto community to meet, and definitely stay tuned for our launch opening.
Cool, man.
Soon.
And then what's the difference between the two centers in New York?
Well, no, now everything's headquartered here. So after we got this Bitcoin Center in Soho, that's packed up back to a real estate location, and now 24,000 square feet in here. So a lot of room to crypto.
Okay, yeah, maybe we'll have you run around with your laptop, give us a little mini tour, sneak preview.
It's not ready. It's not ready for that yet.
All right, that's fun. All right, it's great. Thanks for joining, Scott. And then so our guest of honor, our keynote speaker tonight is Eli. So Eli and I have known each other for a long time. I think I don't even know when, 2014 or something. It's when we both used to live in LA, and back then, I'm not sure about Eli. I'm sure he'll mention it, but I didn't know anything about like blockchain back in 2014 and stuff. So but Eli is definitely someone very ahead of the curve. So I'm glad he could join us. And in our experience together has been a very positive one, not in blockchain, but on other technologies and a lot of social impact, VR, hackathons. We did a lot together in LA. And if you guys have come to one of our game jams or all-day conferences in Miami, you'll notice that we have a lot of speakers and people coming from LA who come to our conferences at University of Miami and Blockchain Center. And a lot of that's because, we all run in the same Eli type centric crowd. And one of the things that is interesting is I'm going to play the video right now is Eli is a Draper graduate. And he actually won the latest episode of the new Draper TV show. And later on, we're going to have the producer of the TV show on, Sarika Batra is going to be coming on the call as well. It's a little surprise for Eli. He probably knew, but maybe not. So basically, Draper is basically one of the, just like Nick Spanos. Tim Draper is one of the old school Bitcoin folks that got in very early and has been very much promoting the community, starting incubators, has an investment fund, creating conferences, all to promote the crypto community. And now he's got a TV show. And Eli just, meetthedrapers.com. So I'm going to play a clip right now of one of Eli's episode last month. It was kind of a Shark Tank type thing here. All right. So you guys, let me know if you can hear it in the chat. And let me.
Okay, see your screen now.
All right, I'm gonna play the video.
When you think of accounting and finance, what comes to mind?
Let's bring on that first entrepreneur. All right. But before we do, let's see what's going on.
I don't think we're seeing the video itself.
Yeah, we're only hearing it.
You're not seeing the video?
No.
Yeah, is it on another screen maybe?
What are you actually seeing?
The Meetup invite.
Yeah, just your presentation.
Yeah. Well, you're not seeing a YouTube video?
No, just the Meetup screen.
All right. Let me present again. Now, do you see it?
Yep, that's
yes.
better.
Yes.
Yeah, I did the share tab, And then when I clicked on the YouTube video, it just opened a new tab. So that's probably what happened. All right, I'm going to play now.
Before we do, let's see what's going on behind the scenes.
My name is Eli Calderón Morin, and I'm the co-founder of All EBT. All EBT is food stamps online. And the problem with food stamps is that they don't work online. Apps like Instacart, DoorDash, Postmates, Uber Eats. What we're trying to do is we're trying to help people that have food stamps already and give them the ability to use their food stamps online so that they can make use of mobile technology. I grew up on food stamps. When I was growing up, it was difficult for my parents to put food on the table. What gets me excited about me and the Drapers is that they are also passionate about social impact problems and using technology to make this world a better place.
So let's see our first contestant. Welcome to Meet the Drapers. Give us your pitch.
Thank you so much. My name is Eli Calderón Morin, and I'm the co-founder of All EBT. All EBT lets people on food stamps shop online. In America, 22% of the US population live on food stamps. Hardworking men and women and people that are just underemployed and struggling to put food on the table. And what's the problem with food stamps? The problem is that they're still using paper. This is an outdated program that doesn't work in this digital economy that we're building here in Silicon Valley. I grew up on food stamps, and I saw firsthand, how difficult it was. And eventually, I got to work in Silicon Valley, and I said, hey, why aren't we using technology to solve problems for my community, for real problems that are around me? That's why I started All EBT. So we're using Stripe issuing platform to issue virtual cards. So it's a Visa card. And the users can upload their paper food stamps and their EBT cards to our platform. Then we issue a virtual card, a Visa card, on your phone. And then you could take that card and check out at places like Amazon Fresh, Instacart, DoorDash, Postmates, Uber Eats. So just to be clear, these coupons are paper. They don't work online. You gotta walk to the store, you gotta get all the items, and then you have to, if you live in a food desert or somewhere in rural America, they can't, maybe you don't have access to healthy food or things, right? So we think shopping online is a good thing.
You have to program in the restrictions on the card, right?
Absolutely. So
what are the restrictions? It has to be used for food or drugs?
So there's a couple different food stamp programs. One of them is called EBT Food, and then another one is called EBT Cash. The cash is discretionary. You can use it to buy household items, diapers, things like that for your children. And then the food has to be food items. With the Stripe API, we can look at the transactions immediately and determine, all right, do we approve it? Do we not approve it?
You're kind of at the mercy of the food stamp program. What if some politician just says, we're getting rid of the food stamps, we're going to do UBI, or we're going to, whatever.
So food stamps is a big political topic, and politicians like to spin it this way or that. We're not focused on all of these other issues. We're focused on what the user wants. And we know that users want to shop online. We know that they have mobile phones, and we know it's a wave of e-commerce that's happening. As long as we take this moral high ground and say, hey, we're fighting for financial inclusion, access to healthy food, and we're fighting for these things, I think we should be okay in terms of politics and in terms of the regulations.
I don't get the service you're providing.
So this card doesn't work online. If you wanted to use this card to check out, like on Amazon or Instacart, it won't work.
Okay.
So we give them a different card, a virtual card. And the money goes from this card to the virtual card. And then from the virtual card, they check out.
So they give you all their food stamps, and you then cash those in somehow. How do you get money for your food stamps?
They send us the food stamps via a messenger bot. We get the food stamps. We validate that they're real, validate that they're a real user. We accept them as a merchant. That money goes into our bank account, Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley goes out to the Stripe account, and the Stripe account goes to the card, and then has the same restrictions as these food stamps, and then they shop online.
Interesting. How far along are you?
So we're an early stage company. We got users in all 50 states already.
Oh, wait, you have users in all 50 states?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, how many users do you have?
We have about 1,000 people signed up right now.
What is your sales volume?
Say that again?
What's your sales volume?
Sales volume, we're working on 2 different models. The 2 models we're working on is a transaction fee off the cards, a subscription model, probably about $4.99. We're testing out, we're trying to figure out what the users want. And then a 3rd model where the merchant will actually pay for all the fees.
So you haven't answered the question.
What are your sales?
So month over month, it's basically 1,000 people with cards, and we're doing 2.9% per transaction. And on a portion of them, we're testing $4.99 a month.
Well, and how big is it now? You've got 1,000 customers out there. How much have they spent?
Month over month, it's about $4,000 a month. So we have a couple of
each of your customers spends $4,000.
No, company as a whole.
Oh, and that's $4,000 in use.
Revenue, yeah.
In use.
In use.
And so you get 2% of that.
That's correct.
So it's like a
small amount.
About $80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we're testing.
It's a start.
But long term, like I said, is we think the merchant should be paying for this. The customer shouldn't be paying for this. The merchant should have built this already. They haven't built it. Walmart, Safeway, Kroger, Target, they haven't done this. Why haven't they done this? So we're trying to figure out who to partner with.
Why they haven't done it. Yeah, why not?
The harsh answer is maybe they don't care about people on food stamps.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Right? Or maybe they're not incentivized to cut their own bottom line. Or maybe they just haven't met us. We're the right connection. We're the kids with the right ideas. We grew up on this program. We studied, at Berkeley, at UCLA. Maybe we just weren't around. That's the idea I like to think.
Do you have any ambition to go directly to the government and say, who's on food stamps? We're already doing this?
So one of the cool things that we did do, we raised a little bit of money. We got a $20,000 grant from the government of Puerto Rico. So they had this big hurricane. They were helping a lot of people. And they said, great, come to the island. 45% of Puerto Rico is on food stamps. So we're working with that government to roll it out there, and also LA County. So
that's exciting. Well, great. Well, thank you so much for coming to Meet the Drapers.
So much, Tim.
Terrific. Good to see you. Yeah, you bet.
It was amazing. It was really amazing. I almost speechless. I would like to explain more about these programs, because a lot of people have never been on food stamps. A lot of people have never gone to the Department of Social Services, or never gone to the welfare office. So they don't understand, like how this thing works. But I think on a high level, they really understood that. Yeah, we won. We're always winning. We're always.
Hi, I'm Rex Moore with the Motley Fool in front of BMW's self-driving.
Winning.
So, what did we think of all EBT?
I think they have a lot of heart. Their heart is in the right place. And, Tim, 5 years ago when I launched Novus, you spoke to this exact problem that Silicon Valley could solve for the digitization of government, make it more efficient, less wasteful. In fact, he has a good story. And if he brands that story right, not only is he saving people on the streets from food, having more efficient way of getting food, but also the planet, because the paper we waste to give these guys these food stamps would be solved for And hopefully, like you said, everything will be on Bitcoin, and then we don't have to worry about inefficiency at all.
I like this for a couple of reasons. I like it that it's good for food stamps, but I like it that he's modernizing government without even working with a government. And then eventually he'll be the place they go. You know, if he can spread that all through food stamps, then he can set up maybe for workman's comp or something. Suddenly he's got a whole...
With the local government?
He's working with Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's willing to work with anybody.
Yeah.
They got wiped out.
Yeah.
Big hurricane came and wiped them out. And they're doing whatever they can to pull business
And you don't know what he's doing.
And Puerto Rico's become the Bitcoin capital.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Blockchain technology is very big in Puerto Rico.
Okay, let's bring in our next entrepreneur.
Okay.
But before we do, let's go see what's going on behind the scenes. I will be the medium for that crystal ball to send.
All right, so now
the right
we fast forward to the to see who the winner was.
So we have all EBT, the business of digitizing food stamps and then potentially getting into other things. They came from a food stamp family. They built their business from that. We have Veridoc. We have the very professional team that is selling identity verification to banks right now in Mexico, but is starting to spread out and doesn't have all the technology they need. And then we have the Crick Clubs, which you just saw.
Yeah.
And what they have is an interesting market and some and an idea that they can take cricket and make it as interesting for the people that follow cricket as it is currently for the people who follow baseball or football or basketball. So why don't we start with you, Kunal? Which is your winner and why?
My winning team would be the first one because they need it the most.
The first one?
Yeah, all EBT.
Oh.
And he's been able to do something pretty powerful, which is from lived experience, motivate others to work for him for voluntary. So if he has a little more help and a little more business guidance, I think they could actually make a dent in that world, and that needs a lot of improvisation, as we discussed. I think that's a decent pick amongst the three. Yeah.
In this group of three, I am united on the food stamps. I think it's the best cause
You mean all your various personalities are united?
I'm united
with Kunal.
Kunal and I are united on food stamps, as well as on my other personalities.
Dad, which was your favorite and why?
Well, I think it would actually be the identity one. In my opinion, they had an interesting product. They had sold it already to banks, and I think it has a huge market that could be tapped in different ways depending on their capability of marketing. But I'd go with that.
Well, we'll leave it up to the crystal ball. For now, let's bring on the three teams that we've had today and see which way the crystal ball swings. So we had some great difficulty in deciding which team to support to move forward into the semifinals, and I'll take you one at a time here. Crick Clubs. We feel like you're going after a great market, taking all of the interesting things that are happening in the Major League Baseball and the football and basketball and trying to apply them to cricket, I think is an admirable mission and vision. But you're trying to accomplish too many things. You don't have one wedge that's going to get you into that market first. We see a big vision, but we don't see a real wedge to getting you into that market. all EBT, weird name, by the way, is you are going after something that clearly needs doing. The food stamps business is possibly the first of many government services that you can go digitize. So it's sort of a clever way to digitize those services and get in and get people using it, and then eventually the governments will just say, oh, we've got it, why don't we just work directly with you, and you'll be everywhere. So that's exciting and world-changing. We're concerned about market size with just the food stamps, which is what you brought up in the first place, is that people don't care about these smaller markets, and so that's our concern. And with Veridoc, we're very excited about the identity market. We think that market is an extraordinary market. You've clearly figured out how to sell into some various banks and go and get other technologies and bring them in. Over time, we're concerned that business commoditizes so that you get squeezed by the technologies on one side and the banks on the other side. And so we had some concerns there. So we couldn't really come up with an answer for you. So we're gonna all look at the crystal ball and we're gonna figure out what the crystal ball tells us. Is it Veridoc? Is it Crick Clubs? Or is it all EBT? Oh, give us the magic. They're all very interesting markets. And the winner is all EBT. Congratulations. Terrific. So you will be moving up to the semifinals, and you all still have the possibility of moving to the semifinals and also to be crowdfunded. And so I thank you all for being on the show. Thank you. And I'm glad you joined us at Meet the Drapers. And see us next week on Meet the Drapers!
All right, good job, man. So the guy, one of the judges, Kunal, the Indian dude, he's one of my Facebook friends, so we invited him as well, but I don't think he can make it. So so Eli's off the hook for that. So yeah, so great job. This is actually, I know this is a very competitive endeavor. Now he's going to be in the semifinals. When's the semifinals going to be, Eli?
They're filming this week, and we're actually going into the next round. So it's unofficial right now, but it looks like, we're like, well, I can't mention anything because the Meet the Drapers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you probably embargo.
They make us sign all these paperwork where we can't.
That's fine.
Talk about.
If you want to say anything more, we'll turn off. We'll do it at the end when we turn off the cameras. I mean, turn off the recording.
No, but they selected us as finalists, and the TV show, it's still airing like across the world. So they have like this rollout schedule. And they're going to announce the winners probably later this month or the next month. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, Justin, why don't you unmute yourself and talk about the award or what you've just done with All EBT, the announcement you guys made for the Telos Foundation?
Yeah, definitely. Firstly, Eli, that was I hadn't actually watched that video, and you pitched that really, really well. And those were some tough questions that Dad asked.
Yeah, I was getting all emotional. Like every time I watch that video, you feel like the nerves because you're on stage and you're like, they're going at you. So, and it's actually kind of a long video. So hopefully nobody got bored.
No, that was great.
Yeah,
that was pretty
entertaining.
Yeah, so basically, Eli has joined kind of the Telos Foundation's accelerator program. It's called Telos Boost. And basically, we wanted Eli and all EBT to come on board after, I'd met Eli at, I think it was the San Francisco EOS Hackathon. And I was just taken by his passion about, food stamps and just public good. And I just thought this was such a valid use case. Yeah, like so many people are building blockchain projects, it feels like, just for the sake of using blockchain. But I saw real value in adding blockchain to this service. Anti-fraud protections, having this public open ledger that, potentially eventually the government and, the all EBT servers and the users can all kind of see the same information and validate, someone should have these credits or they shouldn't. I just thought it was a perfect use case and something that we really wanted to kind of help with, And so within our Boost program, we provide PR and marketing, technical advice, all sorts of different types of support. And Eli and all EBT was just really the perfect candidate to join on. So that's basically what the announcement was around. And obviously that all EBT would be using the Telos blockchain.
Yeah, so Justin, I don't think everyone on the call, definitely on the video later on, will know what Telos is. Do you want to go into that a little bit and what the foundation is?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, the foundation is just like a representative body for the decentralized blockchain that is Telos. Obviously, because it is such a decentralized network, there's no representative naturally. So we sort of get funded by the network, and we provide sort of support to kind of help bootstrap the network, help get people aware of it, and help the projects that are on Telos. And Telos as a blockchain, it's based on the EOS.io protocol, and it's super fast. So it's great for things like food stamps. It's 0.5 second block times. So that basically means you can send a transaction and have it validated within, half a second. We in today's banking world, having I forgot what it's called, double ledger accounting or whatever it's called. Things take 3 days to kind of validate, and that's not really suitable for kind of the modern age. So that's basically, Telos is, a super fast blockchain. It does smart contracts, so you can have agreements with people, and they're kind of encoded on this public blockchain. So yeah, it's a really great technology. And yeah, that's basically a good summary of Telos, I guess.
Okay, great. So, Maria, do you? I know you have a lot of experience, and you run into a lot of blockchain for social impact companies. So, I'll let you be one of the moderators for the discussion. Eli has a short presentation he's going to make, and then we'll go into a short moderated panel discussion. And this is definitely open type talk. So if anyone has a question or comment, you don't have to wait till the end. You can just unmute yourself. That's definitely very welcome at ZenBlocks meetups. Okay, go ahead, Eli and Maria. I'm gonna mute myself right now.
Yeah, so I'll just jump in. So yeah, first and foremost, thank you everybody for making this available. Giving us a platform to talk more about all EBT and the work we're doing. Pravi, Marlo, Justin, Telos, all the participants, the communities from Los Angeles, Miami, and New York. Thank you everybody for listening to what I have to say about food stamps, and I'm really humbled because it's something that I'm passionate about and I'm working on, and it's just cool to see a room of people that are here and we're all passionate about working on projects around blockchain that have social impact and social good. So thank you so much. That's a lot of good vibes and good energy. So thank you for getting me here on this meetup. In terms of the presentation, I don't think I don't want to present the same. It's basically the same presentation that I did on the TV show, probably. So I don't think it would be any new information, right? So I'll skip on the presentation on food stamp, but I can definitely talk more about all EBT and how food stamps work, or if the community has questions, they can ask me about questions about the project. And it's great to meet you, Maria.
It's so nice to meet you, Eli. I have so many questions, actually, because I got so excited when
you know what, since there's no presentation, let me just pull up the for the audience at home who doesn't see our chat. I mean, we will have a chat later, but they might not be able to look at it. Let me just quickly pull up the website, so the audience at home on the YouTube video will be able to at least go to the URL. So I'm going to share screen again real quick. Sorry, Maria.
No problem.
Second. And then Eli, you can explain what we're seeing. It's the Republic one right here.
Okay, great. So what we're seeing here is we went on this TV show, Meet the Drapers. We were selected out of a bunch of startups, and Tim invested a small amount of money into the company, and they also put together this crowdfunding campaign where they helped us do all the due diligence with the SEC. And now anybody can invest into all EBT with a minimum amount of $100. So if you wanted to be an investor in all EBT, all you would have to do is click on invest, and then you could, basically help us get to our minimum goal of $50,000. So if we get to $50,000, we get the money. If we don't get to $50,000, we don't get any of the money. So it's actually kind of important, like that. If you can help in any amount, it would be great, because we have to get to 50K in order to be a successful campaign. So you're basically looking at the website, and it's also in the chat, and it shows our history, our team. So there's like some really cool things that we won. We won the Y Combinator Hackathon. We won the Facebook Hackathon. We were one of the winners of the EOS Hackathon. The EOS Hackathon was really cool because they actually sent us to South Africa for their grand finale, and they had a whole week-long acceleration program in South Africa, Cape Town, and we worked with the team, and they did wonders for us as a company. So basically, you're just looking at our Republic campaign. Here's our team members. Here's the hackathon winnings. Here's some of our users. There's business models in there, etc.
Should I play the video or?
How exciting!
It's the same video. It's the same.
Okay.
Video.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Eli, can you explain a little bit for those that are interested in contributing to this project, what it means to be an investor here? Are you, as an investor, entitled to a piece of equity, or is it more of a contribution?
No, so you become an investor in the company, depending on the amount that you invest. So all the deal terms are right here on the page. There's a $5 million valuation cap. The minimum amount is $100, and it's a simple agreement for future equity. So you actually become an angel investor into all EBT. And like I said, if you can help support, that would be awesome. If you can help me share it, that would be even better, because I gotta get to the 50K. Otherwise, they're not gonna give us the money, which would not be a good thing.
Great.
Yeah, that's right now in terms of the company. Just to give everybody kind of a quick update here. So we've gone through a couple different early stage product cycles. We've built out a team. We've built out an MVP. We've launched in the wild. We've gotten users, and it's grown from like nobody to people all across the US. And then we had this big pandemic, and then everybody was like, oh shoot, we're all on food stamps even more. We're stuck at home. We can't go shopping. So then we had another wave of people sign up. And right now, we're basically focusing on the fundraising efforts as a company to get a proper seed round. So our goal is $500,000 right now, a combination of the crowdfunding campaign and a combination of some other outside investors. So Stanford Social Impact Fund, Berkeley Social Impact Fund, some prominent angel investors in the blockchain space. They're also going to be contributing, $50K, $100K, $25K. And in Puerto Rico, there's actually a lot of people like we mentioned in Puerto Rico. There's a huge blockchain community around Brock and the community here. So that's been really helpful for us as a company. And if you also know anybody that would be interested in investing as an institutional investor or a private angel investor, we're looking to raise the seed round.
Wonderful. I'm actually curious about Puerto Rico. Can you tell us a little bit more about the launch that you did there and how that went and the kind of feedback that you've gotten from your users?
Amazing. So we reached out to the government of Puerto Rico. So the Puerto Rican Technology and Research Science Foundation, they gave us a $25,000 grant, and we got on a plane and flew to Puerto Rico, and we said, let's set up shop here. And the thing about Puerto Rico is part of the U.S. food stamp system, and it also gets, they run on U.S. dollars, but they're actually outside of the food stamp system in the sense that they run their own, they make up their own rules and regulations. And that's given us a lot of flexibility to test out some stuff with the payment processors. So to give everybody a big background highlight here, there's a lot of forces behind food stamps that don't want to see this program advance or people on food stamps move forward. And it's been shocking to me at some level to see how, whether it's the United States Department of Agriculture or other agencies, they don't look at startups as positive things where they want to, where we can use our technology to make growth and help people. So it's if I'm ever vague or don't answer questions that are kind of obviously direct, it's because literally a lot of agencies are reach out to us, and they're following us literally they have Google alerts, and they're following us, and any news article that gets sent out there, I get a slew of emails from attorneys and people that are not incentivized to make the food stamp program any better.
That's a shame. It's a shame to hear that, honestly. One of the reasons why I was so fascinated with your offering was that, just like Tim and Justin mentioned, is that blockchain really allows for transparency. And there's so many inefficiencies in the government at a federal and state level that it excited me so much, the opportunity, the potential that exists for this particular offering to really streamline and help them with their own budgeting. And I have to be honest with you, Eli, I wasn't very familiar with the process of food stamps when I first heard about it. I've never actually participated in one, but I was very curious to learn. And when I was researching to understand better the process, it seems to me like every state, like you mentioned, has its own independent process, even though it's a federal initiative. So I actually wanted to ask you a little bit about that, because I know that they recently, Pravi and I uploaded some articles in the comment section of the Meetup invite that specifically talk about the changes that have taken place with the SNAP program. SNAP is the food stamps program, as it's known federally. And I was just curious on your take to better understand how you're approaching the participating merchants that are going to be on your platform, because from what I had read online, it seems like the only way that they're allowing this pilot online program to purchase these necessities are only through specifically allowed official merchants. They call them the state approved retailers, which are usually limited to like Walmart and such. So how are you overcoming those limitations that are imposed by the program?
Yeah, so there's this interesting loop. So it's a $128 billion food stamp program. And that money comes from the federal government to the states, and then from the states to the users. And then from the user, that money goes back into the system through Walmart or Amazon, or a handful of other 3 conglomerates, maybe Safeway, Kroger, and Walmart. So all of those companies have this huge amount of lobbying power, and then they lobby back into the federal policies around food stamps. And basically nothing's happened for the last 10, 20 years around food stamps, and all the modern day banking infrastructure hasn't been relayed to people that use food stamps. So if you're on food stamps, you can't shop online, you can't have any modern day budgeting or banking notifications about balances. You can't use artificial intelligence to maybe help you make better purchases, get better deals. Anything that's modern in the banking system doesn't work for people that are on food stamps. So it puts them at a huge disadvantage. And, it's disproportionately people of color, low income, and a lot of times people don't realize it's actually all of rural America. 7% of the U.S. veteran population, the armed forces, they're on food stamps. So it's not just Latino and Black people or homeless people, which is another common misconception. And those are some of the things that we're continually trying to address and just show that how technology can be used to overcome all of these different barriers. And my belief has always been so Pravi mentioned that we met back in LA, and at the time I was working at a couple different artificial intelligence startups. One of them got acquired by Google, another got acquired by Amazon. And I was always concerned that I said, why aren't we using technology for problems that are everyday? And this was this startup came out of working in Silicon Valley, seeing everyday problems in my community where I grew up, and saying, how come modern banking and modern technology isn't being used to solve a simple thing like just being able to shop online? And then uncovering all the different layers there is around food stamps, around policy, has kind of been in the experience so far. And then even in the investor community, working with venture capitalists, sometimes these are just old rich guys that have never been on food stamps. And when you tell them, hey, I'm going to build technology around food stamps, they're like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what food stamps are. I've never been on food stamps. Yeah, take a hike out of here. I'm not giving you any money. So I run into a lot of like VCs that haven't even pondered the idea. But the good VCs, people like Tim Draper and other people, they see a problem and they don't understand it, and then they get curious about it and they want to learn about a solution, and that's where good investors come in. And then going full circle here, back to blockchain and why I'm a strong believer in Telos and other blockchains and just in general, is because we want to see cutting edge technology built for problems that are on the forefront of society. And I don't think we need to wait for low-income people to use blockchain technologies. They don't need to be the last in the line. They should be the first in the line on using modern-day technology. And that's why we're pushing forward on a version 2 of all EBT, built on Telos, built on the blockchain, and actually outside of all of these different regulations and controls that sometimes don't make sense. Now, with that said, though, I really just want to highlight one thing, that all EBT does adhere to all the restrictions, all of the federal regulations from the United States Department of Agriculture, and we're not in any way trying to circumnavigate what the United States Department of Agriculture has in place right now. That was a long segue,
but there's so much, and we can see that passion, Eli. And honestly, I think it's absolutely true. It is a misconception that even I had, that it may be just limited to the kind of people that are participating in food stamps, but this pandemic has really accelerated your vision to become a reality, because so many people now qualify by those federal requirements. I mean, people that may have never had to consider that are now in that situation, and this is the premium time to like sell it, right? Sell your idea, sell your vision, and so that's why I'm asking you these questions, so that we can all understand a little bit more how it functions, and hopefully those that see the video afterwards can understand how they can participate and if they can enroll. Because I know it's right now you have a wait list, correct, for this particular product?
Yeah, that's correct. So we're focusing on 2 different markets right now, Los Angeles, Puerto Rico, and those are our 2 primary functions. We had a huge wave of users come from over the last 4 to 6 weeks from the pandemic, and regarding the pandemic, I think so there's a lot of people that are on food stamps, and a lot of times they feel uncomfortable, or they feel ostracized, or they feel like it's a bad thing, right? It's not a good thing, and there's a lot of stigma around being on public assistance or food stamps, and a lot of that has to do with underlying problems in our society, right? Whether it's race and poverty, and what we're trying to do also as a company is allow technology to be this equalizing force, where just because you're on food stamps doesn't mean you have to be disadvantaged. But guess what? Now that I'm on food stamps, I can use all EBT, and I can start saving, create a savings account, maybe in EOS or Telos or Bitcoin, or I can take a portion of my food stamp cash and put that towards an investment account, or I can use artificial intelligence to show me what my spending is like on a monthly basis, so I don't run out of food stamps by the end of the month. And we want to take an approach. We're really big fans of another company called the Cash App. It's a company owned by Square, and we want to become something similar to the Cash App or the EBT Cash App, because the Cash App is almost like a cultural phenomenon, where whether you're a hip hop artist or you're somebody cool and you say, hey, send me money on Cash App, we want to be able to let people that are on food stamps take their actual food stamp funds and share it within their own like family unit or community. So there's a lot of interesting ideas that we want to have, and they're all around empowering people so that they don't feel disadvantaged by being on public assistance or food stamps. We think there should be an abundance mentality here, where there's enough food around the planet that everybody could get fed, and it doesn't have to be a problem.
So I have a quick, sorry, I have a quick question. Like, so Eli, so going into the Cash App and and the concept of maybe just creating a platform, with all EBT, it basically is a platform, right? To sign up, you need to have a username, an account, but then you have the restrictions as well, which, is definitely something you can't get around, at least, from on the short term. But, what about, just going with the whole platform aspect where, yeah, you can have one portion with just, you can buy the regulated foods and other things, but you have another portion where you have more like, your Cash App or Amazon wish list, or even Amazon Smiles, where corporate donors or other donors can donate to a particular profile, like GoFundMe type thing, but it's all going to one profile. So that one profile can get part of it as an Amazon wish list, part of it as food stamps, part of it as whatever, and your app can regulate what can be spent on what, and that seems to be the whole AI VC type model that you're so good at.
Yeah, I think so. One of the cool things about food stamps is that there's two different types of food stamps. One of them is called EBT food, which is only food items, no alcohol or tobacco. And then there's another program called EBT cash. So EBT cash is a discretionary amount of money a user will get, anywhere from $200, $300, $700 a month. And the EBT cash is actually just cash. And after talking with our users and learning more about their problems, and then also another cool side note here. So everybody on the company has either been on food stamps or was on food stamps at some point in time of their life. So we actually use it as a screening tool for like new engineers. So we've gotten a lot of like applications for new engineers that want to work on blockchain, and engineers that are really talented, and they come and they ask me, hey, I would like to interview. And then the first thing we tell them to do is, great, you'd like to interview. Have you applied for food stamps? And then they look at me, they're like, what are you talking about? Yeah. You're going to have to go apply for food stamps first, and then you come back and tell us about like how that went, and then we'll decide if you're going to join the team as an engineer. So it's been a good filter for people. Like basically everybody on the team is like actually gone to the Department of Social Services, sat there for 7 hours, been tortured, humiliated by modern day bureaucracy, and then they're like, oh yeah, I get this now. Like, this food stamp system is really archaic. We can fix this. But going back to your question, probably we're talking about EBT food and EBT cash. So yeah, for EBT cash, we want to use that portion of money to start doing different types of transfers between people, right? And that's where Telos and other blockchain, we're looking to build that out, right? And the way we see this is an on-ramp. This is a long tail on-ramp for users into crypto, right? So just like the Cash App has the option where you can go and buy Bitcoin and have an investment account or savings account there, we feel like the people that are on EBT with these are some of the EBT all EBT cards. So if you have an all EBT card, you should have an automatic Telos account created, and you should be able to start interacting, using some portion of your EBT cash to do stuff on the blockchain and crypto, right?
It sounds like there's a lot of pain points when it comes to the actual enrollment process of the food stamps. Is that something that you envision yourself tackling? Because in the description from Republic, it seems like you're kind of focusing right now on the users that have already gone through the process and have the card. Are you aiming to one day get involved from the very beginning, from the application process of the EBT?
So the quick answer is no. If you're not on food stamps, you're not one of our users. So I think the problem around food stamps is so big that there's problems from the bureaucratic level, federal policy level, all the way down to the signing up process at the Department of Social Services. And us as a startup, we have to be kind of like laser focused, where we're only focusing on the online shopping portion of the whole problem, right? So if we don't plan on trying to work with local and state governments on how helping them streamline signing up people on food stamps. All those systems are already in place, and we, as a startup, we had to pick one niche, and our one niche was the virtual cards and online shopping, right?
And I totally agree with you. Having worked in a startup, it is important to focus your MVP on a niche. So I understand where you're coming from. I just kind of wanted to gauge your long-term vision. I also wanted to ask you a little bit on the technicals in your, specifically in the aspect of validation. You mentioned in the Republic crowdfunding that one aspect of your MVP is to include the validation component. And I wanted to understand it a little bit more. What exactly are you validating in the blockchain when it comes to those that are enrolled in the program already?
Yeah, and Justin, can you jump in as well about the Telos bootstrap program and how you're going to help Eli with that, with Maria's question?
So
yeah, definitely.
I'll jump in first, and then I'll pass it off to Justin. So right now, so we're in MVP early stage startup version 1. Version 1 of all EBT takes people's paper food stamps and it puts them into a virtual card format. All of that happens using traditional banking technology, right? So we go through our own background checks on the person, checking their identity for fraud. We check their food stamps to make sure that they're actually really on food stamps. We go through all those general fraud controls around checking if it's doing the KYC on the person. So the really cool thing about all EBT is that the wait list of users is a wait list of people that have gone through like full KYC, which is pretty incredible because it's actually humbling to me because all of our users want to shop online so much that they trust us. They trust us with something so sacred like their food stamps, with their identity. So we take that stuff pretty seriously, and we have partnered with a couple companies in the banking space, and we're following on all of their infrastructure right now. And then in terms of a version 2 of the product, that's where we want to build the whole system on a different platform outside of traditional banking. And that's where Telos comes in. And I'll let Justin kind of speak to that idea.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, firstly, with all our projects, you know, some of them, or quite often, they start off as non-blockchain products. And we kind of recognize that when you're building a startup, you're building an MVP, you don't want to rush over to kind of try and integrate blockchain too quickly. There's just, you know, firstly, you need to validate your idea, and that's what Eli and all EBT are doing primarily now. But going forward through our Telos Boost program, you know, we're going to sit down with Eli and his team and really work through where the best points of integrating blockchain into this process, you know, which ones to do first, basically. So we've got our CTO, Jesse. He'll be sitting down with their team to look at the technical stuff with all the smart contracts and how we can utilize those. And then like I'll handle a lot of, you know, business development opportunities. We have partnerships with, teams like Transledger, who offer Bitcoin and I think Litecoin and some of these other prominent cryptocurrencies on the Telos blockchain network. So, as Eli was talking a little bit earlier about maybe opportunities for, these all EBT users to actually buy small amounts of cryptocurrency, so they're not left out of this crypto revolution that we're kind of heading towards. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of opportunities, just so many opportunities to integrate blockchain. We just want to make sure that it's going to work with the current rules, regulations, and there's lots and lots of stuff to work through with Eli there. And to hit on your point earlier, Maria, there are so many opportunities that on the government side to make improvements. And, it's probably far off to start meddling in how the government is validating users and how that interaction with all EBT and other similar services. But eventually maybe we can hit those points. But yeah, we need to start with kind of the basics and kind of really help Eli focus in on, the point of sale online, and tracking that and having a visible ledger for everyone. So kind of that's a long-winded answer, but it's sort of wait and see. We just need to see what we are actually able to do and go from there.
And then I'll just recircle on the response here. So we were probably did mention, so it was like 2014. We were like, Bitcoin, this is interesting. Like we're looking into space. And I was going to all these like Boost VC demo days, and I would always see probably there, and we'd be looking at VR, we'd be looking at crypto, and so we were early on looking into crypto. And the point I'm trying to make is, we as a startup, we decided early on not to force the product into the crypto space because there wasn't it was unnecessary, right? It was unnecessary because the modern banking system with companies like Stripe, like Braintree, like PayPal, all that infrastructure is built, and they can do card transactions very efficiently, and they can do virtual cards. Your Apple Pay, your Google Pay, your mobile wallets are very they work, and they work well. So we decided in the beginning to build something that people wanted right away. And the thing that they wanted right away wasn't necessarily crypto. It was, I just want to be able to shop online and order something on Instacart or DoorDash or Uber Eats or just make a payment online, right? And they weren't able to do that using their EBT cash or EBT food. Now, us as like entrepreneurs and like we want to take the moonshot here, and the moonshot is like, yeah, let's give these people crypto like now, not like yesterday, like not tomorrow. Like we can give 22% of the American population crypto now, which is a pretty radical number. Yeah, this is one way we can do it. Everybody that signs up for all EBT, we have an idea to do something around kind of like the Acorn model on PayPal, where if they were to make a transaction using their card, there would be a small, maybe like 3 cents rounded up, and that money would be sent to a crypto wallet where that could be used as a savings account. Because a lot of the times what happens is people on food stamps, they get about $300 to $700 per month on a card, on a paper food stamp or some other mechanism. And then by the end of the month, next month, they run out of money and they don't have any more money. They don't have any food, or they don't have any money. And then there's this cycle of poverty. So how do we get people out of the cycle of poverty? Let's give them crypto, which is a pretty radical view. but it's something that's possible using the technology. And then there's another crazy thing that we could do too, because we're talking about crazy ideas, is like we can actually give them better ideas of what to shop for and what to buy. And instead of maybe buying something unhealthy, we can give them a discount to buy something, vegan or fresh or, something healthy, which would also be a benefit, right?
That's wonderful, Eli. I love that you're thinking through the many different options to give people the opportunity to really make the most out of the benefits they're receiving. Actually, which goes perfectly into the next question that I wanted to ask you. Given this entire pandemic situation, there's been a lot of change in the way that retailers work, merchants work. In particular when it comes to food and making sure that they're having the proper nutrition, the basic necessities that they need to have, which are the ones that are defined by the federal government as well, like fruits, vegetables, things like this. Have you considered working with farmers to maybe provide them the option of having direct to consumer farmer being delivered to them? I think it's a new model that seems, well, it's not new, but I think it's a model that's been growing due to the pandemic. Is that something that maybe you may consider incorporating as well?
So the genius thing about all EBT is that once somebody gets these virtual cards, they can shop anywhere Visa is accepted. So if a farmer can accept Visa using their Square, swipe, then yes, we can go direct from farm to food stamp user. I guess that I don't know if I answered that question properly, but we're basically using technology to leapfrog ahead here. So if the farmers want to go direct to the consumer, yes, we already enable that. It's basically the genius thing, like I mentioned here, is they don't have to be limited to certain merchants. Because right now, if you're on food stamps, you're limited. You're in a food desert. You don't have access to, say, fresh fruit or vegetables or even fresh milk at your local corner store. Maybe they're out of it. Maybe you can get a better deal by shopping on an online retailer. So all of the reasons why online shopping is a good thing makes sense for all EBT to make that possible for people that are on food stamps. So it's like this big snowball. We're not trying to climb up a mountain. We're basically rolling down this mountain of e-commerce and online shopping, and food is one of those verticals that has gone straight through the roof because people are stuck at home. They can't get out. There's no, there's a wait list now for Whole Foods memberships online. It's pretty ridiculous. And
So I think one of the things that Maria just brought up about, perfecting the distribution system, it's a big deal here in Florida right now, and perhaps in Puerto Rico as well, where, so much, especially with all the hurricanes here, and then now the COVID, there's waste everywhere. Like the farmers are throwing away food, the people can't get food, and there's huge lines miles long at Miami Beach for people to get free food. So there's food out there, but there's a distribution problem. And the pain point is something that the government hasn't been so great at solving, at least here in Florida. I'm not sure how it is where everyone else is right now. And so Maria's point, I think it's a very broad, and it's broad enough to matter, to VCs, but specific enough to what you're doing that I think it actually is very doable.
Yeah, same thing here in Puerto Rico. There's actually a couple of cool startups that are out there that are doing the farm to direct for for people, and we are the only way that people on food stamps are
Right.
able
Well, I
to
think
go.
though the farm to direct would be, one-to-one, right? But since you are, you could be a distribution, right? Be more, the farmers don't have to deal with 1 million customers. They can just deal with you, all EBT.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Justin, what do you
Just
think
unmute
about
yourself
about
if you have a question. You can just unmute yourself.
Yeah, Justin, what do you think about the whole concept of smart contracts being used for food distribution?
Yeah, I think there's ways that they could be utilized. Some of the ideas I have for kind of Eli and all BT going forward are things like, airdropping NFTs or coupon codes from specific organizations that make, a certain type of food, or, it could be Amazon or whoever. There could be a way that they can airdrop, some tokens that can be redeemed for something, yet they don't need to find out specifically who those users are, so there's no privacy concerns. I think there's certain things like that. There's also maybe like earning opportunities that would use smart contracts. Like that's the big theme in crypto at the moment and going forward, is like, instead of having to buy, but actually earning. So they could like fill out surveys or do certain tasks and things like that, while they're out of work. So there's all sorts of little opportunities that will come out of kind of utilizing blockchain, along with all the more practical anti-fraud protections that are somewhat dependent on, what we're allowed to do and who wants to integrate with it. I think that there's just so many things that will come about. But yes, smart contracts could maybe be used in some trust or agreements, but I can't, for some reason, think of any specific examples right now. But Pravi, I'd love to hear some, because yeah, we're kind of really in the early stages of figuring out exactly where this 2.0 product goes.
Yeah, let's open it up then to the audience. If anyone's got any ideas of, because, obviously with Hyperledger and IBM and everyone else, who are into just regular blockchain, food, like seafood chain and others similar, that's all they do. But what do you guys think, people who are on the call right now, about what you've heard so far and how blockchain can be used? Let's give Eli some unsolicited advice. So you guys can just unmute yourself when you're ready to speak up.
Hi, Eli. I just mentioned, by the way, that you really, really embody that.
Marina, can you speak up or increase
You
your
can
volume?
hear me?
Yeah,
Is this better?
Yeah, it's better.
So just congratulations, Eli. You really, really embody that concept that you do not have to be afraid of work that has no end. So congratulations. You make us very proud. I have questions about your marketing strategy. Since I assume that you mentioned that you don't really need users right now, you're looking for partnerships and investors. Would I know more, or can you share more of what you're doing regarding foundations that address food deserts, or maybe brands that have the products that they're selling with the food stamps? And obviously, what type of investors are you looking for?
Yeah, so we always need users. We always want more users.
But they're on a hold, right, or on a wait list.
Exactly. But I think, not to undermine that, I think the only reason the company exists is to build something that people want, right? And that's why actually there's only two areas of I mean, from a startup perspective that really matter at this point for us. Obviously, there's a lot of more strategic things that we could think about. But from a startup perspective, the only thing that matters is user growth and revenue, and actually something else, which is a double bottom line on how do we create a startup or a model that has another metric that we'd like to track, which is like the outcomes. How are people eating healthier, or how are people expanding their reach in terms of their food stamp budget, right? So if somebody has $100 in food stamps, if they use all EBT, all of a sudden they're able to spend $120 of value. Those are the things that I like to figure out, like from a social impact perspective.
How are you going to reach the 50K is my question. What's your goal?
Oh, for the fundraising efforts, that's definitely a different topic outside of the user growth and the pandemic and other things like this. So, like I mentioned before, a lot of traditional venture capitalists don't see the value of this, and it's been a waste of time knocking on their doors. So we've narrowed the focus down to two different types of investors. One, social impact investors that have a real like, they want to help people that are on food stamps, and then also fintech investors. So if they're investors in fintech companies, then they're probably going to see the value of virtual cards. And then besides that, basically it's the personal network and talking to people and like I said before, it's something really humbling because people like Justin, they're willing to put their reputation on the line for something like all EBT, and that really helps us get to where we got to get to in terms of the Republic campaign. Right.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, so I don't know. I might have gone in a little bit of a circle there, but
I sent you something about the Coco Mercado founders that are tackling a same issue in Venezuela, and they're in your neck of the woods, so it might be just fun because they're in crypto space but now tackling food. So you might have some war stories to share and strategies to get there.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's wonderful, Marina. Thank you for sharing that.
And then I'll happy to share my own personal information, and if anybody has any introductions or if anybody has any investor questions regarding the Republic campaign, let me know, and I'll be happy to answer those questions also.
I do have a quick question. What happens if you don't get to the 50K? Do the people lose their money? Do they get it back? What happens?
So everybody, all the investors would get their money back, and the campaign would be unsuccessful. So the money goes from your credit card swipe to an escrow account on Republic's side. And then once Republic fulfills all the legal obligations around the SEC on the crowdfunding, then they distribute those funds to us. And one of the rules is you have to set a minimum budget or a minimum amount, and then if you don't meet that minimum amount, you don't get the money. So like I did mention, I in terms of the Republic campaign, where we're tracking on right now, it looks like we'll hit the mark. The deadline is by November. So if we don't do anything, if I don't do anything right now, it looks like we'll hit that mark. But I don't want to just wait and see if that happens. I want to be proactive about it.
So Eli, I noticed there's a promotion code on your site. Is there a promotion code that you have for people in the meetup?
I don't. There is no promo code. So
okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it would be. You know what? I think I do have a promo code for setting up your Republic account. I can give everybody that on the link. Yeah, but I hadn't really made use of that yet.
Yeah, I'll post it. Yeah.
All right, invite friends. Yeah, I'll get it for you. Thank you for your question, Maria. Maria, ¿cómo es?
Marina.
Marina, thank you so much.
Eli, do you have any stats, any recent stats about, the unemployment rate? How many people are reliant on food stamps now since COVID-19? Has anything come out around that?
I don't have those numbers off the top of my head. Pre-COVID, 22% of the population were on food stamps. So
Hey, Eli, that promo code isn't working.
Okay, let me double check.
Anyways, we'll figure it out. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, that was huge. It was huge numbers before COVID-19. I just can't fathom how large they might have, crazy.
Have most likely skyrocketed out of the ballpark in terms of food stamps, in terms of unemployment. Obviously, it's a disaster. Yeah.
And really, your product is just, become even more important. Like people should be avoiding going into supermarkets and other stores as much as they can, and using online services and having them delivered instead. And so yeah, it's just becomes even more critical.
And time is of the essence, because I mean, right now, from the article that I posted in the comments at the meetup, the flexibility that they're giving you to enroll people to participate in the program is way less than what it used to be. So if they just know that it exists, that they have this opportunity to sign up and receive these benefits, I think that would make such a huge difference in your crowdfunding campaign. So maybe to what Marina's point, if you have maybe like a marketing strategy to tackle people and let them know that it exists, that it's available, you could get a little bit more traction, perhaps.
I would love the assistance or the help in terms of the marketing. So right now we don't have a chief marketing officer. So if you ladies can help out in any way, that would be pretty awesome.
I'll contact you separately, Eli.
We do this for a living. We will figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I can sense the good vibe here. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'd love to work with all of you along with it to do any marketing. We just finished. I think it was last week or the week before we announced the initial partnership.
The press release was amazing. We had a big jump in traffic to the site, and it was pretty radical. So
definitely.
It was so good that we actually got a call from the United States Department of Agriculture. It was that good.
Oh wow! I didn't even know about that yet.
What did they say? Tell us.
No, they didn't say anything good. It was one of those bad calls where they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Oh, sorry about that.
No, but in our world, that's a good thing. It's
yes, that is.
You publicize that. They're afraid of you.
Good news or bad news, at least they're talking about you. That's what matters.
That's the way I think about it.
Yeah, what'd be great is if you accepted crypto for your Republic funding.
Okay.
Have you discussed that with them about the possibility of possibly accepting crypto in the crowdfunding?
I don't have the answer for that. I know Republic. I think it has something to do with the crowdfunding. I don't know, but maybe I'm sure there's a way. Obviously, if an investor wants to give us crypto, we can, we can work with any angel investor on a private, safe, simple agreement for future equity. And we've taken crypto from some investors already.
But yeah, because on the Republic's website it says they have services for airdrops, tokenization. So,
yeah, they actually are known for having clients that needed to do ICOs at the time. So they participated in multiple launches. So I think you could ask them, because they definitely have the capabilities to accept. It may just be in relation to the categories of who's contributing, because I don't know, Reg CF, I guess you're using, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I was confused on the question. So in terms of the Reg CF crowdfunding safe, I thought the question was, oh, can you accept crypto for investors that want to invest 100 to anything dollars? I don't know if that's possible on the Republic platform. From doing investments before on that platform, I haven't seen the option to swipe anything but a credit card or a bank account or a wire. But in terms of Republic and their ability to do crypto projects, yes, they do have this whole platform. And we haven't gone down that path of talking with them regarding. So the Telos announcement is very, very, very new. It's literally a week old.
Yeah, Justin, we should contact Republic with Eli's blessing and figure this out for him, because I also see Republic has a new thing for investing in video games. And as you guys may know, like ZenBlocks hosts the largest game developer groups in the whole state of Florida. We get paid by Unity, by Epic, by Magic to host meetups and things. So I think we could offer them a lot of deal flow, and at least get Eli as a launch customer for them doing this as well.
So you did get me pretty nervous there when you said the producer of Meet the Drapers was coming or something like this.
Sarika, yeah, but Sarika and I, she's my Facebook friend, and also Kunal, the one of your judges, my Facebook friend.
Let me give you some background though, because their production effort was literally really professional, literally dot your I's, dot your T's. It was 100% professional. They had a list of 1,000 startups. They chopped everyone off, and they had I think 20 or something like that. So when you said the Meet the Draper person on there, I was like, oh no, they're gonna be on here. They're gonna who knows what they're gonna do. But so the positive thing about this is the whole Meet the Draper production team works separately or in partnership with Republic. I don't know the internal makings of how they do all these things behind the scene, but it's Meet the Drapers, TV production, Sony Entertainment, then it's Tim Draper with his crypto fund, and then it's Republic with all of their partners, and then it's the startups, and then we basically they did a great job of walking us through the whole setting up of that Republic campaign, because setting up a crowdfunding campaign is surprisingly not very easy. There's a lot of accounting, there's a lot of regulations, there's a lot of due diligence, and for a startup a less than 6-person startup, it took a big toll on us, because it takes your mind off of users and product and iterating on solutions, and you're basically fully embroiled in the Shark Tank environment. And the Shark Tank environment, oh man, it was intense. It was intense. They, makeup, dress rehearsals, being on call, being on standby. We met all of those. There's a bunch of famous investors. It was a great opportunity.
Yeah, so it looks like the final video we showed was heavily edited. Actually, how much footage did it actually take of you that didn't make it?
It was days and days of filming. Oh, wow. And there's another episode after that, and then there's another episode after that. So we got to meet a bunch of your friends, famous guys. Grant Cardone, the Pit Bull guy was there. All of these crazy famous.
Yeah, that's a great thing about you guys. You, Justin, Maria, all of us being in the crypto space is we all met here independently, but we all knew each other beforehand. So Marie and I, knew each other from sci-fi, from other cool things. And I didn't realize she was into crypto really until later on. But even this crowd equity crowdfunding, like a lot of our friends in LA were all doing equity crowdfunding before they started doing this Draper stuff. Well, Alan Gorin for Crypto Invest Summit and stuff. His previous startup was equity crowdfunding, invested in and stuff. So it's not surprising they all met in the middle in crowdfunding again later on. It's where our experience came from. And the production, like your friends that did the Shark Tank thing for this thing for you, like even Alan's cousin and I, we did a music video together. So it's all like confluences on different eras, your Facebook friend group, right? What you're doing at that point, based on the year, what you're doing back then in your life. So,
and then just another note. So Pravi, Justin, and I think one of the really cool things that we have here is, in the crypto space, there's always a lot of noise, or there's a lot of misinformation, or there's like, I don't know, stuff that just doesn't sound legitimate. And the good thing about like actually being able to know you guys is like, if I hear something from Pravi, or if I hear something from Justin, and then everybody else on the call, vice versa, like we actually know these people, and the track record has been like really amazing. Like the only reason like I've been anywhat successful is because I've listened to people like Pravi or Justin or other guys in the space, and I've always seen like, hey, what are they up to? What are they doing? And you keep your ears
this,
open.
having your crew is so important in the space. Like Marla and I can give you horror stories just from 2020. It's like, it's definitely a you have your core group. Other than that, like I think projects come, projects go, but you can't teach character, and and you're loyal to the the people, not necessarily like that particular project doing that one time. You want to keep everyone whole.
Probably tell me more about Marlon. How did you guys meet? Because I guess he knows us. He knows me from the hackathon, because they put me on stage and like I met a bunch of crazy people, and I guess he was one of them. But tell me how you met Marlon and how that happened.
Yeah, well, you actually met Leo as well, the other co-founder of EOS Miami, but he's a core developer now at EOS at Block One. So you met both. So now all three co-founders or co-founders of ZenBlocks EOS Miami. So so Marlon and I, independently, we both started EOS Miami. Like I started it with one team, and he had his own ideas, but we didn't know each other personally. But then when we realized that we were both doing the same thing, like a city-based EOS type thing, we decided to work together rather than compete against each other. And it's worked out because, people come, people go, but the people who are super passionate are the ones who stuck it out, especially after the crypto winter, right? People, when there's no more reasons to be in it, if there's only reasons to be in it for the money because it's a bubble, it's good that, that our original partners, didn't follow through because they didn't necessarily have the philosophy of what we wanted to do. Yeah, it worked out. Same thing with Maria. I'm sure everyone's got a story about how they got to crypto and also why they stayed in it. Depends on what year you got in, obviously, how and why you got in or stayed in it. I don't count people got in very early. Sometimes it's just they got lucky maybe, but I didn't get in that early back in 2014. Probably should have, but didn't. We were stuck doing VR back then. Yeah. But yeah, Maria, do you want to wrap up and then we'll do the open forum? Anyone who has other games or anything blockchain related, we'll let them talk about that.
Sure. I mean, I actually, you answered all the questions that I had. I'm so grateful that I got to meet you, Eli, and to hear about your story, to hear about your vision. I'm all about collaborating, and this space in particular, like, people really care about making the world a better place, and they all have their different pursuits. But overall, I think we're all there for each other whenever we want to really grow and understand things, and things can get complicated technically. But there's so many resources are available online and that we've learned over the years. So I'm really glad I got to participate in the conversation with you, and I'm here for you as a resource. So happy to be here, happy to have met you, and I don't know what else to say.
Sure. And I noticed that we actually got quite a few people on the call who weren't here at the beginning, weren't able to do introductions. So let's just start with that as a wrap up. Maybe it'll be a introduction. So Daniel, do you want to unmute yourself?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel. I know Maria. I'm an intern at the Blockchain Center. I did come a little late. However, I did actually have a question for Eli. So one thing you said was you mentioned how basically this would be accepted anywhere a visa is, and I was just from the limited knowledge I have of food stamps. From understanding, there's a lot of like barriers and like regulations and restrictions who can and accept this and not. So I was just wondering if you could just like explain to me a little bit about how you guys are like overcoming that process to like allow people to use food stamps universally for a visa.
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of a delicate question because there are so many policies and laws around food stamp restrictions, and we always want to make sure that us as a company we're adhering to all of the United States Department of Agriculture policies and regulations. So what I could say is that the technology allows anybody using one of these virtual cards, anybody that has an AllEBT virtual card, the AllEBT virtual card is accepted anywhere a Visa or card is accepted, right? So it's basically, it's moving an offline food stamps into an online environment or digital environment. And then from here, we can do other transactions, right? That's kind of the vague way to answer that question without saying straightforward that, hey, you can, all your food stamps you can put on this card and you can shop online now, because the government has a lot of restrictions around merchants, and there's a lot of fraud around on food stamps. So what people don't realize is you get your food stamps, and say you get $100 in food. Sometimes people go to their liquor store or their corner store, and they take their paper food stamps or their EBT card, and they'll tell the merchant, hey, swipe my card for $100 and give me 40. So it's basically blatant fraud, which is a huge problem around food stamps. And it's one of the reasons why there are so many rules and regulations regarding merchants. And we feel that technology should be put in place where there isn't where fraud is detected at a machine level, not just at a human level. Because right now there's so much fraud at the human level. Technology should actually be fixing that problem, right?
Okay, thank you for your answer.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Great. So let's just go around the room, and if you guys have anything to discuss or show, and if you actually want something to show that's not going to be on YouTube video, you can wait till the end. So let's just go on in order. What about Justin? Do you want to talk about what's going on in the world at Telos Foundation, or anything else you're working on or want to speak about?
Yeah. Can I share my screen quickly? I might just kind of show them the
Yeah, go ahead.
website and some of the other projects real
Yeah,
quick.
when we have this, we do this every month. Open forum there's no rules as long as it's like related to something blockchainy.
Yeah. Okay, let me just, is that showing now?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, I just encourage everyone to check out telos.net. It's a great resource that's coming together. Just tells you, everything about Telos. We're still building it, but it's really coming together really fast. You can find all the exchanges and wallets, and there's also area for developers. Someone's sound is coming through a bit. But yeah, it's definitely a great resource. You should check it out. We've also got the Explore area, which has kind of all the applications on Telos. We've got particularly a lot of games and social networks that are joining Telos. So yeah, I just encourage everyone to check it out and get to know what you can about Telos. And we'd love to support other projects like All EBT. We cover all industries basically. So whether you're a game, social network, or a social good app, anything that can utilize kind of the value and trust of a blockchain, that it requires a token or digital items or smart contracts for agreements. All these types of things can benefit from a fast blockchain like Telos, and we'd love to support you. Cool.
Great. And just to follow up on that, our next event is actually next week. We actually have this is actually for Eli, because like when Eli and Maria, I made you both co-hosts. I just posted this last night, but our next meetup is actually in VR, so everyone can join it in VR with your Oculus headset, or you just use your regular mouse and keyboard. But it's basically, we're doing a blockchain gamer conference, but we're raising funds for basically global food banks. So it's going to be pretty cool. It's a summer game jam. We usually do a annual summer gamer cruise every year in Florida, that people come from around the world, and even esports celebrities attend our gamer cruise. Well, this year we're going to be doing it online. So and we made it food focused because of Eli and Maria. So you guys are co-hosts. So feel free to edit the meetup too.
Nice.
Yeah.
From my side, the update that I have in relation to blockchain is that we at Blockchain Center are working hard to continue providing educational content to our community. In the past, we've done a lot of it in person, but given the circumstances, we really pivoted to have it online. So I wanted to share my screen as well. So I'm just gonna share real quick. One moment. Can you see it now? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that we've recently launched, and this is going to be our first online seminar that we're going to be offering. We partner with FinTech School and with the University of Berkeley to have a professor really give an overview of blockchain. And it's a 5-week cohort. It's basically to cover different topics within blockchain to have an understanding of how you can use it in your own industry. It's online, so it's very flexible. You have one-on-one hours with the professor, and you have different modules that are covered as part of the 5 weeks. For these are the topics. You can find all the information in blockchaincenter.com. if you're interested in finding out more about it, just send me a message, let me know. For those of you that are kind of new into blockchain, this would be a really good introduction to really understanding how you can apply the technology. And at the end of the cohort, there's a capstone project so that you can incorporate it in your respective industry. So let me know if you're interested.
Great. Yeah, so definitely, since everything's online, everyone who's on the call can definitely attend all of Maria's events. So Samuel, do you want to go next? If you have anything to share, finish up.
Sure. I actually
or
had a
what you're working
question.
on. Yeah, good.
I had a question for Eli first. Suppose you do get the 50,000 in funding, where would you go from there? How would you expand?
Yeah, so in terms of the product roadmap, we want to expand across the US right now. So we have the wait list, but now we want to service people across all 50 states. And then after that, we want to double down on the engineering resources that we have. So we've been able to do a lot with a small team, but basically everybody's been not so it's in complete startup mode, so completely bootstrapped, and nobody's getting any compensation other than equity right now. So we want to do justice to our engineers and all of our staff. And then I think from a broader perspective, we want to set the company up where we can make it into something kind of like the Cash App, where it just goes completely viral in the wild. We're having users signed up all the time, and we need cash, because in an essence, what we've become is we've become this bank, and we need to be capitalized, because we want to do transactions. I didn't mention this, but the EBT transactions, they take some time for the EBT transaction to get deposited into the company bank, and then from the company bank you get pushed back out to the virtual card. So if we were able to actually have capital on hand to do transactions or advance money at a faster space, that would be one of the uses. But general startup expenses, that's basically what the 50K would go to. And then at the larger level, 100K, and then the 500K level, that's what we're going for.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and if anybody has any investor questions, I put my email out there. And also the Republic page has a list of other questions that other investors have also posted, and it's a public forum on investor questions regarding all EBT.
Yeah, what we did is I just posted the Republic in the comment section of the Meetup. I couldn't post it in the actual body of the Meetup that we send out to all the email lists, everything else, because it is like a regulated thing. But we posted it as a comment just now. So yeah, that's how it went. So Daniel. Oh, you already went. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No problem.
So Jesse.
Well, wish I could think of a few things to ask, but pretty much everyone else already asked them.
That's fine. No, if you can share what you're working on, you can feel free to share your screen. We do this every month. You know, it's up to you. Yeah, if you have something you want to. I mean, it also gives people motivation where, you know, like especially like if you're doing a game or something, right? You know, you could show like all additional features, and also gives you like a deadline, right? If you don't want to keep showing the same thing over and over again every month, you want to show progress to your peers. So, I mean, it's your first time. You can show anything you want, and then if you come next time, you can show an update of what you showed today, for example.
Oh, sorry. I just I didn't know. I don't really have anything I'm
okay
working on at the moment that's non-work related. So.
No worries. It's optional opportunity.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, sure. And then I think everyone went. So I'll just share. I'll just show the the next meetup next week, where we're going to be doing the food. All right, so this conference is in VR, so it's on the same Meetup, meetup.com/EOS Miami, and you'll see it. And the entire platform, because everything we do, right, we want to do as indies as well. So even the whole platform we built ourselves from scratch too. So we learned a lot, and anyone who's willing, who wants to contribute, learn how to create like a platform built in Unity for VR that can scale across thousands of users, you're welcome to join this project as well. But generally, it's like, you know, rather than just going to Altspace or something, we wanted to build something from scratch in house. So been doing that. So the website goes to the landing page, and we're going to have basically a virtual exhibition area. So you can, like, if you have a game or a D app, or you have something, you can have a virtual booth like you would if you actually came to a conference. We're going to have dev talks if you have a talk you want to give, panel discussions, and then we have networking lobbies all in VR. And then our charities are World Central Kitchen. It's basically a worldwide group that donates from chefs and restaurants to food banks around the world. And then we're also supporting independent developers as well, because a lot of indie developers, like Eli was saying, you know, they're not really funded and they're working out of passion right now. So a portion of the proceeds for all the GoFundMe donations are also being given to the independent developers who are basically starving right now as well. So it's food banks and indie developers. So there's actually a sign-up form, developer application, basically a Google Doc to sign up for if you're an independent developer that's looking for support from the other indie devs in the world. And then you can be an exhibitor. So ZenBlocks is obviously here. Florida Game Developer Association, that's ZenBlocks' game developer group. And then if you also want to become a community partner, we'll add you to the site as well. And then this is the schedule right now. We're going to obviously add to it. But yeah, it's all indie in-house. We're building it all from scratch. You'll learn a lot if you participate and you want to help build. So that's all I got. So yeah, guys, thanks for joining us for our end of the month meetup. It was really glad to see so many new, fresh faces, and looking forward to seeing what Eli builds over the next year or so, or 6 months.
No, thank you everybody so much for the support, and for Justin, Pravi, and all the other founders in the community in general. And anybody also too, anybody that might see this video that's on food stamps or that needs assistance, like, we're building this stuff for you. So it's not just for technologists, it's technology for people that need it. So feel free to reach out to us in any way possible.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Great, guys.
Thank you so much. Everyone, have a good night. Take care.
Sure.
Bye, everyone.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.